All right, we are live. Top 8 recap. Almost there. Third time's a charm. No, it's not. Okay.
Are we streaming?
It says.
Philosophical question.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we always streaming in life?
Sorry, guys, we're going to have to end the stream right now due to existential angst. All right. Boop. Okay.
So we're going to try and make this quick. Lakers are playing right now.
Yeah.
Got food on the way.
We don't have much to talk about anyway. We just... you have to go over here. One of these games didn't even get played. One of these games we did commentary for yesterday, so I don't think we need to go into... we can mention a little something about that one, I guess, but, doesn't really matter too much. And then the two games on the right side of the bracket are worth talking about a little bit more because we haven't discussed them on stream yet. What's going on, Maxwell? How you doing? So I guess we can just get into it. So, top left here, Team Pussy versus the Wailords is the one that didn't get played. And then the darn Heckin Delibirds and Doesn't Click, we got to commentate over that one last night. I don't really have much more to say other than it was just a really, really dominant performance from the Delibirds, and it makes me a little bit more confident that they're going to be able to handle the matchup against Team Pussy, although, spoiler alert, Team Pussy is still the favorite to win for obvious reasons. So,
but the line has shrunk. If this was a gambling site, the point spread has thinned out a little bit because the Delibirds showed that throughout the season consistently that their prep can be top notch and absolutely needs to be feared. Something similar, not trying to say, but like to us, where like our prep is really one of our main weapons that we have in our arsenal. It's like one of the things that we fall back on hardest is like our prep. And the Delibirds, I think that's been very clear from the beginning as well. Their game plans are always solid, and they always seem to have ways to beat what you're bringing to the table. So I think, yes, while Team Pussy is still the favorite, absolutely, them getting in the top 4 absolutely should, account for something, and it should bring the line to be a little bit closer. I hope that in the pick'ems that the outcome tends to be a little bit closer, because I do think that they have a legitimate shot at winning, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won it all.
Yeah, I think their prep is really what won them this game. The Reggie Steele, while it was incredibly weird, actually seemed to work, and it was kind of the be able to join in about 25. Maybe we're trying to go through this a little bit quickly, so maybe not. We'll see what's going on when in 25 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. I know it sucks because they had a bye too, so like they won their bye and if they wanted to interview, but yeah.
Well, we'll have a game to talk about at the very least next week too. But yeah, I like their prep a lot. The Reggie Steele, like I said, it was weird, but it was. I noticed that Ryan said in their post commentary that their Escavalier was going to give the Delibirds a few problems, and I think the fling with Reggie Steele was a really creative way to mitigate what the Escavalier was going to be able to do, and the scarf on the Archeops was ridiculous, and it does seem like they kind of took that idea from the Drillers, but like there's no shame in that. It was still very good. You knock out the Dragapult right off the bat as long as it's not maxing, which it was not in the max slot there. Scarf Tailwind is good. It's got Rock Slide for the Volcarona. I like that a lot. So and then as usual, the Comfy Moltres in the back is often tough to deal with. So
yeah,
good prep from the Delibirds there. Moving on to the Cheek Drillers versus us. Do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I mean, this one was going to be definitely one of our toughest matchups. It's only getting tougher from here, and that speaks a lot to the competition. Not so much. I mean, they were the first seed in our division,
Yeah.
coming off of a bye, a dominant season, and they beat us in the last game. So, they were feeling good about the matchup entirely. And then on top of that, their team got substantially better
Yeah.
than it was when we played them. So like, not only are we playing them when they're probably at their best, they've been winning a lot, but then like their team has gotten that much better. So in prep, it was really tough. We felt that Mew was going to be a really tough thing for them to deal with. We had the Mien Shao with Mew lead. We led that all 3 games. And we felt that in general, that was just going to be something very hard for them to stop, especially without Aerodactyl in team preview.
Yeah, when we saw there was no Aerodactyl in team preview, the first words out of my mouth were, "Holy shit! There's no Aerodactyl. Mew just fucks here."
Yeah,
and it did.
Yeah.
It did.
And credit to Allan and Hector too, because they beat us in game 1, and we were pretty shook because we really felt that the Mew lead was going to be really good here, and it just didn't work out the way we thought it was going to. And our first thought was immediately, okay, let's adjust the trick room. We had this planned out. We can go and try and set things up with trick room, and then we immediately were like, you know what? No, our prep is too good. This is you said it. Mew absolutely does great here. Let's just roll with it. And they led, thinking we were going to bring trick room because they do their work, they do their prep. They know they're going to definitely adjust the trick room here. It only makes sense. So they had Dragon Tail Duraludon next to Arcanine. Like, oh my god, that absolutely would have destroyed us if we decided to go for trick room in that game.
Yeah, it was just a matter of like deciding. We were just discussing it a little bit between games 1 and 2, and we decided we actually have an adjustment, not in terms of our game plan, but just in terms of how we're gonna play the Mew stuff that actually gives us a much better chance of beating their Rotom Blastoise stuff. So we decided to stick with that, and then they adjusted to something that we were actually even more comfortable going up against, especially since they protected the Duraludon to let the Arcanine go down, because they weren't aware that we had Max Quake yet. So and then after that, they just they were too afraid of letting Duraludon take a Quake because they couldn't Max and they couldn't protect. So we figured the Mimikyu switch was sort of obvious because that was their one Quake switch in. So we just attacked the other side, and I think they forfeited that game a little prematurely, but it was, given the way the first 2 turns played out, I guess it was fair. Maybe they just wanted to preserve information.
I think it made a lot of sense in the long run. Knowing Allan and Hector, they're 2 accomplished VGC players. They know what a high price information needs to come by. And they felt, we're not going to give them information for free. We made a call here. We thought they were going to go into Trick Room. Our first game plan beat them. Let's just quit right now, preserve all the information we have, go into our game 3 with the same game plan that beat them last time. And it makes sense from that perspective because, like we said, in VGC and Best of 3, you don't just give up information, especially if you feel like your game plan's good. So that does make sense to me. I do think that it was a little premature because we were thinking of all the ways that they could come back.
Yeah.
But it, just to kind of touch back on like our prep, and not to say, but like the Duraludon Arcanine thing was actually something that we talked about. We said, all right, if Duraludon and Arcanine are in the field, we comfortably take a KO from both of them. Which one do we take?
Yeah.
And we were like, we go for Arcanine every time. We'll be all right. We'll leave the Duraludon there, but we go for Arcanine every single time. And we went for Arcanine, and they ended up protecting the Duraludon. And we were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we pretty much wouldn't change that ever. So it just kind of went more into our prep a little bit, kind of just going off of that. And in game 3, we adjusted, just like how you said,
Yeah, we stuck with the same leads game 3 because we kind of expected them to do the same thing, and we decided we have a better game plan against the Rotom Blastoise stuff now that we know what that combination wants to do. And so we stuck with the same leads. They adjusted back to what worked in game one, and we just went straight for just killing the Rotom side and you turning into the Clefable so that we could redirect and keep Mew safe a little bit. And then once we were able to it turns out the Surfetch'd actually was Assault Vest again, so which we were kind of wondering about. We didn't really have confirmation of that until we clicked Expanding Force that turn in Game 3, and we saw there was no Protect. And then we just Trick Roomed that same turn. Mew went down from the Cannonade damage, and we just got a free switch into Caparaja. That totally sealed the game. So pretty happy with the way that turned out.
Yeah, and credit to the Cheek Drillers. I mean, Allan and Hector, they're great, fantastic players. They really put in a lot of good prep into this game. They had the Bulldoze on the Arcanine with the weakness policy, Duraludon, something that absolutely could have wrecked us had we not attempted a prep for it. And we pretty much had plans for all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, they were the top seed for a reason. It was really tough to prep for them in general. They took a game off of us. They probably should have, might have taken one or two, but I think in the end it was more about our prep than anything else, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else to say on this one, or can we move on to the last game?
Time to move on to the last game.
Okay.
Yeah. This one was tough.
Yeah, this one was difficult to watch. On one level, it's I have similar feelings about this one as I do about Team Pussy and the Wailords. For Team Pussy and the Wailords, it sucks that a game has to be determined by an auto forfeit. For these guys down in the bottom right, it sucks that a game has to be swayed that much by RNG. But at the same time, I feel like the correct team won almost. I mean, the Mats and Team Pussy were our picks to win anyway. And I felt like, given the matchup, I think it was actually a little bit difficult. I think it was going to be difficult for the Bulus to win anyway, given what they had on the Zapdos and Nidoqueen side. Because watching their side back, you see that they have the Scarf was confirmed on Nidoqueen, and you also see they have Assault Vest on the Zapdos, and then they also have two other Pokemon, the Liepard and the Lycanroc, both pretty frail, both without Protect even. So I think that side in particular was a little bit too vulnerable, especially because you have that shared psychic weakness between the Nidoqueen and the Zapdos. I think that really showed when the Mats were able to just keep locking down that side with Yawns in Game 1. So given the matchup and the way these two teams both prepped, I think the Mats had an advantage. But the thing is, I think, given that the Mats had what I consider to be a team and prep advantage on top of an RNG advantage, those two things combined together really meant that the Bulus didn't even have a chance in the first place. It
made it to where there was it was no chance.
Yeah, the Bulus still had a chance if RNG was more even. I think the Mats still win more often than not. But yeah, the RNG on top of the team advantages was just, I think, too much for anybody to overcome.
Yeah, so a couple of things that we saw was the special defense drop on the Rillaboom from the Shadow Ball, allowed it to get 2-shot into the Rillaboom. You could argue that they could Sludge Bomb that turn and KO it, but the Shadow Ball really was safe because it really nullified any chance that the Jellicent was going to be able to come in on that slot.
Or Heatran. I don't know if they didn't bring Heatran that first game, I think, but I don't know if they saw all three of the Mons on that side yet.
Yeah, so it makes it a lot safer to just go straight up for the Shadow Ball.
Yeah.
We had the Stomping Tantrum miss from the Nidoqueen onto the Gengar.
High horsepower.
Or I'm sorry, high horsepower. Stomping Tantrum doesn't miss. That obviously sucks because it was Sash, so being able to break Sash would have been fantastic on that turn. Had a couple of Rock Slide misses too, I think.
There may have been.
Yeah.
In Game 2 against the Hawlucha. Oh no, that was a Heat Wave miss.
Oh yeah, that was a Heat Wave miss. Yeah. that the heat wave, I wonder if that one was as much because the tailwind was going to get set up regardless. I think it survives. It was going to survive no matter what because it's at +1 special defense at full health.
Yeah, it still got to stick around and
but
do some serious damage.
It got to do some damage. So, but I think the most damage that it actually did was probably the tailwind that it set up. Because otherwise, then like Blaziken comes in or any of those other come in too, and they can still take advantage of the tailwind. But it was one of those things where like nothing was going the Bulus way, and it makes it real tough when you have a team like Ben and Bishi who they're good players. Good players are just not gonna let you come out of that hole.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna continue to keep the pressure on. It's one of the things that we talked about with us versus the seniors. Like a good player, they're gonna go, cool. We got that RNG in our favor. Now let's take advantage of it and make sure they can't come out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and Ben and Vichy absolutely did that. They were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, well, we're gonna take advantage of this. One of the things that I thought was extremely interesting that they did was the yawns that they were throwing out.
Yeah.
Man, I think that alone really was going to make it tough for them in general. Yeah. But then, like, of course, they get a yawn on, and it was just a one-turn sleep. The Swampert woke up on the second turn and then started launching the yawns again. Mm-hmm. So I think it was just really tough in general. The Mats had a really, really good game plan going into it. Putting down the pressure with the yawn, it's something that I think the Swampert has just been able to be good to come in for. Take a couple of hits, launch a couple of yawns off. You know, has decent not spread attack, stab moves. You know, water and ground. Those are good stab moves to have. And then he says the speed tie too. I think it was between the Lycan Rock and the Gengar. You know, that's one of those things where it's one of those things where, man, part of me after that game 1, you go, no. We don't count on the speed tie here. No chance. We go for Excel Rock. We are not going to lose on a speed tie. To hell with that. And instead they were like, well, let's just hope we don't lose the speed tie. It's like, oh, man. I mean, when you're having bad games like that, it's like, stop clicking Heat Wave and go for Flamethrower.
Well, it's also scary trying to click Accelerog when they led Hawlucha both games. In the first game, they just switched into an ED.
Yeah, exactly.
You can still hit the Hawlucha with Accelerog in terrain, but like, it's a little...
Yeah, definitely.
It's a little awkward. Especially because you do want to do damage to the Gengar if possible. So, Maxwell in chat also brings up a good point that he says Zapdos was always our max, but we could never do it. I was going to mention that in game 1 as well. It was just like this case of they just never had a decent opportunity to max anything. Mostly because, like you said, the yawns that were coming out from that Swampert just locked down that side so hard. There were like maybe 2, almost 3 times where they switched out into a yawn again. So yeah, it's always weird to see a game where one or even both sides don't max, but like there are situations where you're just like, there's never a point where you're like, okay, we can actually max here.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get bit in the ass because of RNG. Sometimes you get bit in the ass because of timer. I mean, that was our problem against the Drillers the first time we played. We were just trying to spend time positioning to actually get our max up, and then we got one max move off, and the timer just ended. So shit like that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to criticize, like, what the hell, you guys didn't even max, but like in that first game, man, it makes sense.
It not only that, but it is legitimately tough to max in multi-battle.
Yeah.
With the rotations that always go on there, you have to make sure that the right Pokemon are in the right place at the right time, and you have a very finite amount of turns.
Yeah.
You know, so when you have that combination, you're just not going to have opportune moments to max a lot of the times if you're not like, you know, something like what we did where it was like turn 1 we max every time. And if you don't have situations where you're planning to max, you know, well, in that case, but like when...
in this week, yes.
Yes, in this week, I'm saying. But if you don't have plans to max within like the first 3 or 4 turns, it's like, man, it might be really hard to position yourself to get into a max later on in the game. Just because of the flow.
That's true, but at the same time, you look at a team like the Mats, and they they rarely use their Dynamax early.
Yeah.
And it's almost always successful.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're good at that, you can do it, you can pull it off, and it'll work. But it's harder. It is harder.
Difficult. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think it's something that we've seen in VGC as well, where like a late game Dynamax can actually prove to be very good as far as positioning. It can actually win you games a lot of the time.
Even if it looks like you're losing in the beginning because your opponent's max is just blowing through you.
Yes, you a late game max can absolutely bring you back.
Yeah.
It's actually something to bring it back to the Delibirds. That first game when they had the Moltres, they only had the Moltres left on that side, and they said, we max it here. You got a big nasty Moltres that you have to stare down, and it's got a lot of HP, so you're gonna have to take care of it.
Yeah, so for sure.
All right, well. That's our top. This is our top 4 now. Team Pussy versus the Delibirds, the Amoonguss Burnouts versus the Mats for the 3rd straight season.
Indeed. Let's look at some matchups real quick. First up, we've got Team Pussy and the Delibirds here. This is actually both of these are new matchups this season. We have not played the Mats this season. Team Pussy and the Delibirds have not played one another. This is one. This is an interesting one where, like, honestly, I don't really see a particular advantage on either side. Do you?
No, not really.
Like, on paper anyway.
I kind of like the Cinderace here a little bit, but they have so many things that can kind of work around it in general. Nidoking hits a lot of stuff hard, just in general on this team. So yeah, I think these can be things that can cause issues, and I think the Delibirds are reminding me a little bit of like the Sky Pillars, where their big Pokemon weren't really their backbone. They're in between Pokemon were Pokemon that could absolutely put in work. I mean, look what we saw this week. We saw big time showings from Archeops, from Virizion, from Entei. These are Entei and Virizion obviously A tiers, but like these are Pokemon that like they aren't Moltres. They're not. It's not relying on Moltres Comfey like you think you are.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things where when you can get maximum value out of some of these other Pokemon, these lower tier Pokemon, it makes your stronger Pokemon that much better. Something that we actually saw from the Cheek Drillers this year. They were able to do such good work with stuff like Surfetched, with stuff like Mimikyu, that weren't like just the Blastoise and, Arcanine, the stuff that you would think.
I was pretty impressed with their Surfetched usage,
Yeah. Fungus, obviously. Fungus has, great use in general, but, but even stuff like Pikachu, all these other Pokemon that they had, we were able to make good use of them. And I think when you can do that with a team like this, you're going to get good things. And that's actually one thing that's great about Team Pussy, too, is they get good value at a lot of these picks. Mantine shows up almost every game and does something.
I'm still confused as to why it works as well as it does for them. But hey, I mean, it's so weird. I don't get it, but it works.
Yeah, and then like they've been able to get like these top 6 right here. You're gonna get they know how to get mileage out of these. The Gengar, the Togedemaru, the Diggersby, Hatterene, Cinderace, and Celesteela. Like they can get maximum mileage out of those. Yeah. But the Mantine, the Jigglypuff, the Pangoro, like all those can put in decent work and have put in decent work this season. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they prep and what they come out with, because I'm really not sure. Like I said, I don't see an obvious advantage one way or another. I don't see a way that one Pokemon just completely decimates the other side. I don't see it's not obvious how this matchup is going to go. Even just putting aside the two the 4 players and just looking at the Pokemon on paper, it's there's a lot of different ways that a lot of this stuff can go.
Yeah, can't wait to see it, honestly.
Yeah. And for the 3rd season in the row, your top 8 matchup is the Amoonguss Burnouts versus the Mats. What did I say?
Top 8.
I said top 8. Okay, yeah. Top 4. Yes, 3rd season in a row. Top 4 is these two teams right here, and this one is it's very interesting because I think this is the best team that they've ever had,
and the best season they've ever had.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Are we just gonna tell everybody right now that Ben and Vishy actually aren't real people? This is just your second team that you run.
It is.
You're actually on our YouTube, and you're the one that types "scam Elsina" to yourself. You're the one that harasses yourself. It's all just a big ploy.
No one has any idea, and they never will. Wait, are we live right now?
Vishy never made top 8 at Dallas. That was actually you. Ben never got a good what's it called? Placing at Senior Worlds. That was you as well. Just
they
you
actually,
in disguise.
They thought I was 15 for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I this isn't really we're not really going to talk much about the matchup here, but I think this is a really interesting storyline, I guess you could say, because back in season 3 we played in top 4. The Mats ended up beating us, and then last season in season 4 we played in top 4 again. We ended up winning the whole thing, so of course we won our top 4 match. But so this is kind of the top 4 best of 3.
Yeah, top 4
Like,
best of 3. Best of 3.
Because those were both best of 1 before. So
so now we play best of 3 to figure out who won the best of 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
Even though it doesn't, but that's okay.
Man, I'll just say that going back the last couple of seasons where we've had to play them in top 4, we'll tell this story again. We pulled our hair out, not literally, but trying to figure out a way to beat, like, they had like Incineroar on the team, and they had like a few other Pokemon.
Sun Mode, Inteleon, and
Sun Mode. Yeah. Oh my god. And
the matchup was just really, really awkward on paper.
Yeah, it really was. And
so we ran Mist on Blastoise.
Yeah. And I'd be interesting to see if they were to have done the same thing in best of 3, because we saw, spoiler everybody, Vishy brought a 4th Mon this time.
I think that was photoshopped.
I know.
I think it's all.
But it's best of 3 now. Like, I understand. He's like, nah, dude, we can't. Like, if it's gonna be best of 3, like, we can't do that, because we kind of. I don't want to give up too much, but we're in playoffs, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But we know what 6 we're gonna take for the most part. Like in the
at
least
for the first game.
Yeah, in a best of 1.
In best of 1.
Yeah. No, in best of 1. So like we could probably not bring a bluff 2. We just prefer not to, because we feel that it's like a legitimate disadvantage. It sometimes benefits us to bluff something because we want you to think we're doing something else. But so I understand why Vishy wants to do this, but now come on, like Vishy even knows, like best of 3, you have to have 4 real sets on every Pokemon.
Dave also called him out in the server for it.
No, true. That might have something to do with it. But man, if they bring Ninetales, if Vishy just bluffs Ninetales in top 4 last season, it's a different ballgame.
That would have made a lot of things way more difficult. Yeah.
Way man, we would have changed up everything, and they wouldn't even have to have brought it. We would just everything would have changed. So I think in general, they're very, very good team, very difficult to prep for. Not looking forward, and also looking forward to prepping against them, because of the fact that their team are usually very well rounded. This is obviously the best team that they've ever had, and I think the biggest issue is that it seems like they like building every week for it. They not only is this the best team they've ever had, but I think if you talk to them, they'd be like, "This is the most fun team that we've ever used in this league." Like,
it would be for me if I were them.
I'm having an absolute blast, and that's a problem for us. Because if they're having a good time building this stuff, then they're not going to just mail it in. And Vishy bringing a 4th Mon does strike fear in my heart. But in all seriousness, these guys are good players. They're good friends of ours. Can't wait to play against them for the 3rd season. It's always going to be tough. They're always going to bring the best out of us no matter what. I would hope that we do the same for them. But yeah, so good luck to them, and we hope we end up winning.
Well, not too much luck.
Not too much luck. Yeah. Not like you had against the Bulus. We're not trying to Hopefully they wasted all their luck that week, because if we have the luck that the Bulus have, we don't stand a chance. They're just gonna coast over to another. They're gonna repeat. Man, maybe this is the redemption arc for the Mats. We're over here talking about ourselves.
Well, we did predict at the beginning of the season. We did predict that they were going to win.
Yep, they were going to be the winner. They're going to come and they're going to beat the guys who beat them in top 4 last season, they've had battles with and wars with the last few seasons, and then they're going to beat if Team Pussy makes it, the team that knocked them out in the finals the season before, where Team Pussy got their first championship. So who knows? Maybe this is their big time redemption arc.
Look, yeah, if they beat us in top 4 and then beat Team Pussy in finals, that's a redemption arc if I've ever seen it, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, but for the record, we've played against these guys a lot. This is the first season in the MBC we've ever played where we didn't play them in the regular season. Yeah. We played them in the regular season 3 times before. We played them in top 4 twice. We've only lost 1 out of all 5 of those matches. So,
yeah,
just saying.
They also brought Grass Whistle against us.
Okay. Okay, that was season 2. And but we did. That was when we 6-0'd him.
Yeah.
Remember when we double trick roomed? That was so good. Anyway, so that's that matchup, and then these are our top 4 pick'ems. Goomer's back. We're almost done, Goomer. This was a quicker stream, so we're just gonna wrap up here.
We're gonna get you though next week, even if you win or lose, because most likely Sebi and UA probably aren't gonna want to come on with us, and we'd like to talk to somebody from the game. So.
Yeah, I also told Dan to send me their replay after the game, so nice. we can do another commentary stream for that one.
Yeah.
So just a heads up, we're gonna do that. We'll have a little top 4 wrap up after that as usual, but we're also gonna do another live commentary stream for the Delibirds and Team Pussy here. So that'll be probably Sunday or Monday. But yeah, these are our pick'ems. We are predicting that we're gonna face off against Team Pussy in the finals.
They're gonna beat us again. We come out and be like, now we ruin your perfect season, and then still lose.
Well, no, we're gonna win. It's fine. We're just gonna win. It's cool.
We believe.
Now, if we're correct here, if this is actually our bracket after top 4, we're gonna have another 2-time champion. No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Watch out, doesn't click.
And honestly, let's see. We have I can see any combination of these teams making it to final. I can see the Mats versus Team Pussy. I can see the Delibirds versus us. I can see the Mats versus the I can literally see any combination of this of these teams in finals. That's how narrow the margin is between these teams right now. I think Team Pussy comes out on top. I don't think anybody, if they go up against anybody, they're the favorite no matter what.
Oh, clearly.
But I still think the margin is pretty narrow. Mm-hmm. I think the Delibirds have a really good shot. I think the Mats have a really good shot. So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy weekend.
I mean, I was actually a little bit surprised looking at the pick'ems. I'm not surprised that Team Pussy's winning the pick'ems, but I am a little bit surprised that we're beating the Mats on pick'ems just because they had the better regular season between the two of us. So, and we did lose in the pick'ems very narrowly against the Cheek Drillers, but maybe people saw that we took out the first seed in our division, and we're actually capable of doing this still, even though we had our regular season was a little bit meh in certain places.
I was also gonna say, if somehow we win this year or this season by some miracle, we actually didn't break the champion's curse. Yeah, you're figuring it out.
I guess
because if you win the championship, you either win it again or you just don't make playoffs. Because that's what doesn't click has proved.
Oh God. Okay. All right.
So we actually don't. We have to lose in finals or in top 4 to officially break the champions.
All right, let's throw this match so that we can number one break the champions curse and be right about our preseason prediction for who wins.
True. That's the most important. And then we can't say that the week 0 power rankings are the most useless ones. Because we get them right 50% of the time.
Goober says, I don't think you're allowed to win if you entered playoffs at 5-5. Okay.
Tell them that's that through the last couple of seasons. They make deep playoff runs all the time, and they barely squeak in.
I mean, this time they did much better, obviously. But yeah, I mean, look, you know what? Actually, I'll save that speech for after we win. Okay. So we'll hold off. We'll hold off. This all I'm going to say right now is this playoff run is very different from what the regular season's been like for us. So.
And yes, Max, we would have the worst record as a champion because every champion, for the most part, has dominated that season and has pretty much always been the clear-cut best team. Doesn't click both seasons. They were clearly the best team. I think Team Ironball was also pretty close to them in their second season. Mm-hmm. Doesn't click, I think, ended up beating them. We obviously dominated. We only lost one game that season. We will have, if some miracle we pull this out, we will have the worst record of any champion.
I'm okay with it.
We're
2-time champions.
Ring's a ring.
Yeah, man. I'll take a shitty record if we can win 2 in a row.
I'm watching the Lakers play right now. They're the 7th seed. They had to play in the play-in game to get in. If they get a ring out of this,
so did we.
Yeah, we had to play the play-in game, and we also lost the first game in round 1. Yeah. Wait a second. No, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, whoever ends up getting it, I mean, the championship's a championship regardless.
Yeah. Also, I mean,
confident we're not getting 5. Haxorus is our worst enemy. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. We're okay. Never mind. I was gonna say something else, but never mind. But yeah, yeah, Haxorus is meh. We'll be fine.
Having PTSD flashbacks.
At least it's not our Reggie Drago.
Everything they have scares me. Let's not talk about this right now.
What are you? Hold on,
It's just.
You scared of? I mean, Victini and Ndidi are shit mons. Are you really scared of them? Come on. Why would
we get beat by expanding force spam, just like how we beat the cheap drillers?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
All right.
I think that should do it, though.
That's it. We're done.
Good luck to all the top 4 teams except Ben and Vichy.
Yep. AKA Max Alts.
And we will see you guys probably Sunday or Monday. We're gonna be doing commentary on the top 4 match between Team Pussy and the darn Heckin Delibirds.
Can't wait.
And then we'll have probably an even shorter recap for top 4 since there'll be even fewer games and only one game to look forward to. So that'll be it for our season 5 MBC analysis videos, and then I'm sure we'll do another little. Well, actually, Alyssa said she was gonna.
She wants to do finals, right?
Yeah, she's gonna commentate finals. So I don't know. We'll probably do a little something after the season ends, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
So and then that'll be it for our analysis for season 5 MBC. We're almost there.
Almost 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. All right, guys. We'll see you for the commentary stream. Peace out.